Talk Radio, you're in to all things music.
I think when you surround yourself with people that want the best for you, and this doesn't even go for music, this goes for anything else that you may be doing in your life. If you surround yourself with people that are positive and they want the best for you, amazing things will happen. But if you have to pull out the weeds while you're working and trying to hone your craft, there may be an opportunity there for you to go back and say, I may not have hired the right people to help me on this venture.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Everybody, here we go again. It's Monday, November the 13th, lucky number 13. And we are going to be presenting today number 18 in an ongoing series of emerging artists on Emerging Mondays. You guys, I'm proud and privileged today to bring on this guy. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm in a quandary right now because when I say emerging artist, it sounds like to the listeners worldwide that it's a person that's just starting in the industry. My in-studio guest today, Justin Young, has been in the industry. He's been in the field for a while. But again, too, he's a young brother coming up, making some serious strides in the industry. And we at Jackie's Groove and Intertalk Radio, we're here to promote the brothers and sisters below the marquee that are making their in-runs, that are supporting the people above the marquee, and hopefully be the marquee headliner themselves. So with that said, guys, I wanted to welcome everybody with open ears and open arms to Jackie's Groove. Please welcome Mr. Justin Young. Justin, welcome to the show, my brother.
Jack, thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to it.
Hey, man, you know what? I want to put a special shout out to Rick Scott. Rick is a dear friend of the network, and because of him, you are here. So big ups to that situation. You know, it's money well spent, as they say. And so with that, Justin, you know, I've been guy, so yeah, man. Hey, I've been obsessing about your music since I know you're coming on the show. You know, through your 4 albums that are out right now, Nothin But Love and Blue Soul and On the Way, and then I love the holiday album also, where you know that's amongst us right now, coming up to the shopping days ahead of us for the holidays. So with that said, I want to find out. I want the listeners worldwide, your fans that already know that, but let's get a little bit deeper. Let's take them behind the velvet rope. Let's talk about Justin Young. Where were you born? Where were you raised, brother? Share with us.
Sure. So I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and born into a musically talented family. My dad performed guitar and keyboards, and ever since I was 3 or 4 or 5 years old, I have memories of just being in the family room with a complete band: drummer, bassist, vocalist, guitarist, keyboardist, and just racks and racks of gear. And I've just been brought up just loving music, loving the way musicians work together and provide a sound and provide a heartbeat to, to America. I feel like without music, life wouldn't be the same. So this is a very part of my journey coming up and being able to produce records and amazing songs.
Hey, Justin, how old are you, brother? Share with us.
Sure. So I am old enough. I'm allowed to say that.
Exactly.
And I've been writing music I started my first album when I was 16 years old, and that album is on a limited box set on my website at justinyoungsax.com. And my first record was mixed by Paul Brown and featured Paul Brown on a song called On the Way. The CD was entitled On the Way. And I've just been blessed with just wonderful opportunities. I moved to California and met Ricky Lawson, the legendary drummer to the Stars.
Rest
and
in
Ricky
peace.
mentored me because both Ricky and I are from Detroit. And while living in California, I also met Sheldon Reynolds, an amazing guitarist and vocalist of the group Earth, Wind, and Fire, and just a plethora of just amazing musicians from Brian Culbertson to Huge Groove to just Alex Al on bass. So I have this awesome network of musicians that are on my CD.
And Justin, I want to kind of take a quick second here and give a belated birthday to the gentleman you just mentioned, the aforementioned Mr. Ricky Lawson, the legendary, greatest studio cat, live performing drummer that we lost way too soon. So his birthday was last week. So my brother in heaven, I hope you're grooving like you always do, and I know you are, man. And you mentioned people. So many people right now in common had an amazing interview with Sheldon Reynolds. I think it was earlier this year. We really chopped it up. We talked all about the legacy of Earth, Wind, and Fire. We talked about health and family. And I'm so proud that Sheldon is healthy, man. He's moving forward, and his playing is just extraordinary. And as I said to you earlier, I just had a great interview with Morris James O'Connor, the gentleman that took over Sheldon's place. So it was it's kind of a whole discography in the way of or musicianship in the way of Earth, Wind, and Fire, and with you being part of the sax pack, for the lack of a better word. I have been blessed to have worked with, and yes, I'm going to name drop, with Kenny G, with I say Huge, Steve Grove, and everybody doesn't know that's Huge's real name, Jeff Cashua, Michael Paulo, Sam Riney. The list goes down the line, and hopefully I'll get a chance to work with this young brother, Justin Young. So, Justin, do me a favor, brother. Talk to the audience and let me know, was saxophone your first instrument you picked up, and is tenor your main axe in the way of sax?
Yeah, so my first instrument were the drums.
Really?
And I brought home the drums in fourth grade, and actually, growing up with my dad being in music and always having bands around in the house, the drum set was just like, wow, what is that? So that was my first instrument. Both of my grandparents are ministers, and I got a chance to perform in their church for years and years. I still love the drums to this day, but saxophone really took its love. I'm a huge, just whenever I can pick up the sax, that's where I'm at, and I feel empty-handed without it. So it's the saxophone is now my main instrument.
Are you more towards the tenor side, or are you alto, soprano? What is your favorite? I'm looking at everything here. I see tenor.
Sure.
Share with us. It depends on the mood that I'm in. If I'm in like a kind of a slower soulful mood, it's tenor sax. If I'm kind of more in a funky mood, it's the alto sax. And if I'm more into the a very unique kind of voicing mood, I put on the soprano sax, so to speak. So I've had a lot of folks tell me that the soprano sax, there's something very special in that, the way that the horn sounds when I play it and how I play it. So that's been a very great description for those that have heard me play the soprano. So. And Justin, growing up, like I said, and through the household of the Young family, what were you listening to? And I always use this term, and I mean this with tongue in cheek. What were you forced to listen to, or were you forced? What was coming through the speakers?
At that time, so my father, Jim Young, led show groups, and the show groups would perform in casinos, and they did floor shows, and it was much more than just playing the music. They actually had to put on a skit. So Prince was really big then, so they did a lot of Prince skits, and so I listened to a lot of Prince, a lot of Earth, Wind, and Fire, a lot of the Gap Band, a lot of Kool and the Gang. Let's see, Manhattan Transfer. So it's a pretty eclectic bunch, but it was mostly top 40 that I started listening to, because those were the songs that were really popular.
Sure.
And my dad was producing shows for.
And brother, do me a favor. What's on your shuffle right now on your music player? What am I going to listen to if I jump in the car with you?
Oh man, you would hear everything. You'd hear everything from the Gap Band to Boney James to, let's see, Gerald Albright. You would hear the Funkadelics. You would hear Man, what else do I have? Justin Timberlake, Bruno Mars. Yeah, it's Prince, Michael Jackson. It's all over the place.
So, and that's a good question, because I had a great interview with Ron Powell on Friday here. Ron Powell is one of the most prolific percussionists in the industry. Currently, 30 years with Kenny G, Diana Ross, Madonna, and we talked about things about all the shit, for the lack of a better word, that Kenny got through his career by not being a quote unquote jazzer. And Kenny never had ever admitted the fact of being a jazzer. He was a section player, man. He was a person that played funk and R&B and did the stuff with Patti LaBelle and so on. Would you consider yourself a standalone saxist, or do you really look forward to being part of a section? Have you been part of a section?
I have performed in horn sections before, but the path that I'm on, that I'm really excited about, is performing as a solo artist with my band. And I've had a awesome summer of shows, everything from Spaghettini's that we sold out in August.
Seal
and we
Beach.
also performed at Seal Beach in the house. Great crowd, great folks. Just had a wonderful time with my band there. And then my band and I also performed at Shane Park Amphitheater, a legendary concert venue that's right there on the Detroit River. And we warmed up the Legends of Jazz with just amazing group, and huge crowd, and we had so much fun. I brought in a 10-piece band for that show with a horn section, and we just rocked it. It was so much fun.
Justin, who's in your band right now? Give a shout out to the players. Who's your A call right now?
Sure. So that'd be Mike Harrington on bass. He has performed with Brian Culbertson and Alexander Zonchek in the past. There's so many. Gail Johnson on keys.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Miller also on keys. Eddie also performs with the Brian Culbertson Band. Eugene McBride on drums. He's performed with so many different people. And then various trumpet and trombone. I'd love to play with a section in my band. So when we're doing a lot of the upbeat stuff, there's a horn section driving it. There's just so many awesomely talented musicians out there. I'm looking forward to collaborating with a lot of them. Yeah.
Brother, I was blessed. And again, I asked you about your age, and you so happily kind of stepped away from saying I'm old enough to know, and so on. And I'll be the first one to tell you I'm older than dirt. But that's a good situation, man, because when I was 19 years old, Justin, I joined a group called the Tower of Power. And let's talk about that. And that's how Steve Grove, or better known as Huge Groove, that's how we came together as friends. When he was actually had the first tenor chair back in the early 90s, if you can think back all the way back then itself. So I was always surrounded by the greatest saxophonists. And talk about people coming up. I am, thanks to Rick, I've got Brian Culbertson coming up. We haven't locked in a date yet, but Brian is committed to the show. Other great players we talked about got coming up. I've got Mark Russo. Mark is one of the greatest saxophonists with Tower of Power, then on to the Yellow Jackets, then currently with the Doobie Brothers. So with that, it's said, you don't want to get locked into the quote-unquote smooth jazz vortex, for the lack of a better word. Would you consider yourself...
Have you heard the Blue Soul album?
Oh, absolutely. I was listening to it before we came on. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So part of the emphasis of Blue Soul is to combine. I brought in an incredible gospel producer. His name, he just amazing producer that just worked with Fred Hammond and Kirk Franklin, and he actually came into the studio, and I really wanted to get back to my roots on this record. And Blue Soul is all about getting musicians in the studio and working out how we can make these arrangements and everything else better, and stepping away from the computers and into the recording studio with real musicians. And a lot of the songs that are on this new album that I'm so excited about have this gospel flair along with this R&B synergy to them, I call it, and it's just amazing stuff. I'm playing a lot more melodic and jazz riffs, and not just letting the track float with the saxophone. There's some really nice riffs going on in there, and so I'm really excited to show the world, tell the world about this new album, Blue Soul. And there are some down the middle cuts, like Always There is kind of the song that you played. That's kind of like down the middle, smooth jazz. And that one hit a lot of commercial success. It's been top 25 on Billboard and on Sirius XM Watercolors for a long time. And we started promoting that with Gore Off Music Marketing on January 1st of 2017. So it's doing really, really well. But some of the other tracks that are coming out are I'm just so excited for the community to hear them.
Yeah, man. And Blue Soul was, the release date was in November 2017. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is there an exact date? Is that out available now?
There sure is, and it's on the press release that Rick Scott is putting out. It's November 17th. Next Friday is the release date for Blue Soul.
Yeah, man. And guys, I want you guys to sit there and patronize this, man, because I hate to say it. I always miss saying going to Tower Records or Amoeba or Virgin, but go to justinyoungsax.com. And also, I want you guys to go wherever music is sold and pick up this beautiful, beautiful collection of music. And when you said a little while ago, brother, you said that you were letting the sax flow. So were you saying, are you doing less of a prominent sax man up front, like a solo, or are you comping a lot during the tunes?
It's of course saxophone led, but there's really no rules, and what I mean by that is it's really just my voice coming out through the track, and with these gospel tendencies that are happening, and these other soulful things that are happening in the track. There's several songs on there that. The solo section is more than 8 bars. So, in the past, we've all used to, the genre kind of dictating, okay, this is what the track should be like. And on this record, Blue Soul, I made the album into something that we wanted to, as a team, put together. And so I think it's beautiful. I can't wait for people to hear it.
Well, we're going to do everything we can, brother, to promote this as much as we can, because, again, as I said, Rick Scott is a dear friend of our network itself, and we're always here to sit there and scratch each other's back, for the lack of a better, term, if you will. But the thing that we're lacking right now, my friend, is 30 seconds left of the first segment. You see how fast it goes, and we got so much more to talk about. So I want you to put your thinking cap on, brother. I'm going to ask you about the old and the new. Don't answer any questions now, but when we get involved in it, I want to find out exactly where you are, where your thoughts are in the quote-unquote music business. Are you optimistic at your young age? Are you pessimistic on the fact of the matter is it's harder and harder to monetize our talents? So with that said, brother, don't go anywhere. Get yourself a beverage. I don't want anybody moving away from the speakers. My name is Jackie Bertoni, brought to you by Intertalk Radio, connect to all things music. And this is Jackie's Groove with my in-studio guest, the amazingly talented Justin Young. Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after a short break. Stay tuned.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EnterTalkRadio.com.
This is Morris O'Connor, guitarist for Earth, Wind & Fire, and you listen to my good buddy Jackie Bertoni on Jackie's Groove.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Everybody, welcome back to segment number 2 of Jackie's Groove. My name is Jackie Bertoni, and the network is called Intertalk Radio. Connect to all things music. Before we go any further, I want everybody to do us a favor and yourselves a favor. I always say this on all of my interviews, but when you can't listen to Jackie's Groove or the plethora of our other amazing shows on the network, go to iTunes or go to Google and download our easy-to-use and easy-to-navigate free application. 2 words, Intertalk is the first, radio is the second. Take Jackie's Groove and our shows on the road with you when you can't listen live, but you are now listening live to Mr. Justin Young. Justin, welcome back. Let's talk about that song we started on the top of the set. Give us the genesis of that tune, and where can we find that song?
Excited here. So that was a song from the Blue Soul album called Nothin But Love, and it's a vocal-led on the choruses. It's got the awesome vocals of Sheldon Reynolds, former guitarist and vocalist of Earth, Wind & Fire, and we recorded that at Ricky Lawson's studio before he passed, and in his West Covina, California studio, we recorded his drums along with Alex Al on bass, and we also have Sheldon on guitar, of course, and some awesome keyboards by Mr. Eddie Miller, who plays with Brian Culberson. So I'm a huge fan of Earth, Wind & Fire, and just really wanted to have a song in that vibe, and Sheldon did just knock it out of the park with that, with his vocals on that song.
Yeah, man, and you mentioned the fact about all the great instrumentalists and all the players that you are able to employ. Obviously, brother, they're not just doing that for the money. They're doing it because the music that you're writing, the music that you're providing to them is indeed a groove-orientated music. And, I want to say, listen to that tune coming up. I'm listening, and I mean this is a compliment, but I'm hearing a lot of Boney James in your music and your phrasings. And I mean that as a compliment because Boney, or better known as James Oppenheimer, hey, James, what's going on, brother? He's coming on the show also, too. So it just seems like I'm either interviewing drummers, percussionists, and or, in this case, saxophonists, man. I mean, even Richard Elliott's coming up. And I'm sure all the people I've mentioned, or aforementioned sax players, have all been inspirations to you. Think about this for a second, Justin. Who would you really consider, and it's almost like asking who's your favorite child, but out of all the saxophone players that are out there, anywhere from, Charlie Parker all the way up, who really, quote unquote, does it for you? Who knocks you out?
You know what? I don't just have one. There's like at least 5 that I absolutely love. Grover Washington Jr.
Yeah, man.
I'm a big fan of Boney's. In fact, Boney and I have I met Boney for the first time when I was on my band performed on the Capital Jazz cruise ship, and he and I actually we just chatted on the cell phone maybe about a month and a half ago, and he gave me some really great advice. But Boney's definitely a part of that mix, and for me, playing the saxophone is just one part of making the album. I also want to try so hard to make sure that the quality bar of that album is set really, really high. It's not just about like a laptop in a room recording on it. It's more about musicians in the room collectively putting down the groove, collectively making that what I call magic happen. And I feel like the ability of, and whatever genre it is, because in this day and age, I feel like there's not genres. It's just great music that's out there. There's just an ability to, if you can create high quality music and get the right musicians together, that's where the magic happens.
Absolutely.
There's a driving force in there. I call it magic, but when you put the right people in the room together, there's something that happens, and that's the great music that I want to make.
And Brother Justin, let me ask this question. Let's go back to start this current album, Blue Soul. How much pre-production goes into your recordings?
A lot. We wrote roughly 40 songs for Blue Soul and pared it down to 12. So the pre-production is all over the world. It's, songs get sent to me all the time, and I'm so thankful for all those songwriters and arrangers that are listening out there. Feel free to keep sending great songs, and then those songs get heavily critiqued, and then of course put the beautiful musicians that really add their hone and that hone their craft and put their sound on these things. These albums, these are mini symphonies. One song is like a mini symphony to me. It's been arranged very well. It's got an intro that makes sense, and a verse that tells you a story, a pre-chorus that brings in the hook, and then the chorus that brings in everything that you want the song to be. So making these songs are just it's not just a song to me. It tells a story, and that's what all these songs on Blue Soul do.
Yeah, and Justin, I wanted to explain to the audience out there that we have a huge listening audience of musicians worldwide. We also have a very huge listening audience of laymen, non-musicians. So I want to qualify one thing. Justin said just a second ago that there's music that comes in from all over the world. Let me jump in and just say the fact is what that means is that Justin's not jumping on a plane and going to places throughout the world. The fact is nowadays with home studios, we have a thing called Pro Tools or Logic, in which the producers or which writers will send via WAV or MP3 to Justin. Justin will get a chance to listen to it itself, and usually if they're either sending something that's very raw or even products that are, or even music that is completed to add Justin on there. So the fact is we don't have to step into those multi-million-dollar studios. We can sit back in the luxury of our own home and get that same sound with all the plugins, and those are the additives, if you will, that we can make the electronic music sound analog. Would you say that's a fair description to the public right now, Justin? Share with me.
I think you can do a lot of the technology gives you great pre-production value, but the technology and just just having plugins does not give you great music. Right. So what I mean by that is, and it sounds like we're on the same page. It's the technology brings the musicians closer, but the great products and the great products come from musicians in the studio together to create some amazing things. And don't get me wrong, Jackie, you can get a great song on a laptop, but a great song only cuts it maybe 30% in this industry nowadays. Absolutely. You have to be able to compete on a quality level. And just like I've honed my craft working 10,000 hours on a saxophone or so, there's engineers and sound engineers and recording engineers that have been working for years and years that know how to adequately, correctly mic a bass, mic a kick, mic a snare. And when you combine all that together with the right musicians in the world, those are the records that stand out and are timeless, like the Earth, Wind, and Fire stuff.
Yeah, man. And without question, because, I'm old enough to remember, and I've been blessed to work in the greatest, at Capitol, at Columbia, at Sony, at Ocean Way, Western Audio, Warner Brothers, and so on. And someone asked me not too long ago during an interview if I missed walking into a big room. You know what? I loved it because there's something very, very hip, and I'm sure you'll agree with this, is when, well, you're not so much a sideman as I am, but when I walk in there and that studio is blocked for me, it's all about me. I mean, I've got my engineer, I've got the producer. It's all about me. That's a lot of pressure that's put on you because the amount of money they spend to get you in those rooms. But over the last 3 years, I stepped into a room at Record One in Rancho Bernardo here in Southern California. Beautiful. That's where No Doubt does a lot of their music, their hits, and so on. I was in there for about 10 minutes, and the producer looked at me and said, "How does it feel?" And I said, "I feel like I want to go put my sweats on and walk back down the hall and get something out of the kitchen," and so on. So I kind of gotten spoiled with my home studio, and this is where I'm broadcasting from also. I mean, our network is in San Diego. That's where the big store is. But the fact of the matter is, as I said before, you can get a great sound via digital, but there's a lot of great artists out right now. Let's talk about Michael McDonald. His new album called Wide Open that came out on September the 15th. He recorded that just all in analog. The rock group Styx just released their first album in 14 years, all analog. In fact, a lot of the players even brought out their old instruments just to get that sound of yesteryear. So my question to you is, do you feel at your young age, do you get comfortable when you're in a room, and of course you're not sitting in a big thing, you're sitting in a booth, if you will. Do you love it that way, or are you more at home by sitting in your house and doing the same thing? Or is it the same thing?
For me, Jackie, the collaboration part of music is something that's really, really important to the process.
Right.
So, having musicians together in the same room, putting down the vibe and the groove is where the groove is at. The groove is not with one person and a laptop somewhere. That's not the groove. So, but that's just me. So,
have you? Let me jump in real quick. Let me jump in real quick. I want to ask you a question. When you're going to the studio, a lot of people make the misnomer that when they see on TV the whole band is in the studio and they're rocking out and everything else, but not necessarily the way it's laid down. Usually you walk in and there's the rhythm tracks put down. But let me ask you this question for the musicians out there. When's the last time that Justin walked in the studio and you recorded a track live? Have you done that, or do you believe in that, or don't like that?
Totally believe in that, and that's what Blue Soul. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, where it's like Motown music is the heart soul, right? Yeah. It's like the musicians all together in the room making the music. I think we've cheapened music by trying to say, okay, I'm going to play the bass, I'm going to play the drums, I'm going to play the guitar, I'm going to do everything myself. Right. And I think there are so many talented people out there, but one person is not the groove. So back in the Motown days, when you had the Blues Brothers that recorded a lot of these awesome tracks for Motown, you would have the drummer and the bass player in the room at the same time, locking what's called a groove down, because there's something that happens. And for many of the musicians, we know this. When a drummer and bass player play together, there's something very special and unique that a computer cannot duplicate.
Absolutely.
Period.
Called the lock, brother. And when you talk about someone like Ricky Lawson, on his playing, go ahead. Yeah.
And as soon as we start messing and changing different things as much as possible to make what we think sounds good, but that wasn't the groove that's played correctly by really professional studio musicians. There's still reasons why professional recording studios are around.
Oh, sure.
And honestly, a lot of folks should not try that at home.
That's a good.
That is something very, very important. You may have Pro Tools, you may have Logic, but I think that all of that technology is there for a purpose. You can have all those plugins for your pre-production stuff, but what gets committed to the end product may not be what you created. It may be something that studio musicians have gone and redone what you started out with. And there's, song credits that happen for everyone there. But that's just me as a person. I'm from Detroit. This is what I believe in. And for me and what I feel most comfortable in making music and what makes me the happiest is being able to collaborate with people all in the same room and putting it down live.
Because when when the labels send stuff to me, they send it in mono, and that's not in stereo for those who don't know the difference. And the fact is, I record it here in stereo so I can get the sound I want. I send it back in mono, and then the engineers, as you aforementioned, are the ones that put their magic to the situation. When I'm in the studio, I record on a wood floor and a paisley carpet, and that's the way it is in my home studio. I do agree with you 100%. The fact is, be able to look up. I'm looking out of my window right now, and I'm looking at my palm tree. As opposed to, I would like to be able to look up. Maybe I'll get some wallpaper that looks like a control room. And but there's something about the producer and the engineer doing the talk-back mic and saying, all right, brother, let's move on to the next track. And so with that, there are pros and cons. I mean, I've been doing this long enough to know the difference between the two. So, but again, I'm at home here. But let me ask you this question. When you are in and your name is on the album, Justin Young, and you are hiring these amazing players. You're hiring them, you can afford to do it. The fact is they want to do it because the bottom line is I will not be paid to play on shit music. And on great music, I'll do it for free. You know what I'm saying by that? And the fact is, because your name is on that. But let me ask a question to Justin. You are surrounding yourself by the who's who of players. When you're in there and it is your name on the album, are you afraid and or cautious to voice your opinions to these players itself, or are you that comfortable that you can sit there and say, you know what, I want the bass line to sound like this, blah, blah, blah. Share with me. Are you easy to work with, or can you be a prick? Be honest.
No, that's the beauty in working with great musicians is that there's a community or a sense of brotherhood that happens that, you're hiring that bass player because they're going to do the best that they can. And everyone wants the best product in the room. That's powerful. I don't know what it is. It's like a multiplier. It's like, whoa, Ricky Lawson and then Alex Al on bass. Are you kidding me? And there was takes where I said, hey guys, I think we're missing something. Let's just go back. And that's all I really have to say. There's no, and they're so warm and they understand that they're there to get the job done. They'll redo it for you. So I think when you surround yourself with people that want the best for you, and this doesn't even go for music, this goes for anything else that you may be doing in your life. If you surround yourself with people that are positive and they want the best for you, amazing things will happen. But if you have to pull out the weeds while you're working and trying to hone your craft, there may be an opportunity there for you to go back and say, I may not have hired the right people to help me on this venture. So that's a beautiful thing. And again, I just wanted to just note real quick that there's so much awesome technology out there, and all of it has a place. Mm-hmm. You can definitely write songs on all this technology, and you can definitely make the songs that you wrote sound better. For me, my 2 little cents are my records going forward. I'm going to do the best to have it as a collaborative setting in a studio with 5 or 6 other heartbeats going off at the same time, making an amazing product. But that's for me and where I'm at in my life, in my career.
Justin, you know where we're at right now? We're at the end of segment number 2, brother. You see how fast this goes, and I'm going to put that quintessential olive branch out to you and Rick. So when you have something new above and beyond Blue Soul, we'd love to have you come back, and we'd love to be able to promote this with you. So with that said, guys, don't go anywhere. The final segment of a full hour with my in-studio guest, Justin Young, an incredible saxophonist on Emerging Mondays, number 18. My name is Jackie Bertoni. The network is called Intertalk Radio. Connect to all things music, and my show is called Jackie's Groove. Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the final segment. A lot more things I want to ask this young brother about his optimistic or pessimistic views of the music business. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element. Affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on intertalkradio.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, this is Michael McDonald, and you're listening to my good buddy Jackie Bertoni on Jackie's Groove.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Man, I got to tell you, that song reminds me that I'm in a convertible, which I don't own, staying on the Coast Highway, which I'm not there, and heading out to the beach, man. And that sax is brought to you by my in-studio guest, Justin Young. Justin, before I go any further, I want to say thank you to all of our sponsors who make our lights stay on and keep our lights on. And that be first and foremost our greatest sponsor, which is called Pitbull Audio. That's Calvin Lee and his great staff. You can reach them at pitbullaudio.com, where they just want you to play it loud. And also somebody I'm sure Justin knows, I know very well, called SIR, Studio Instrument Rental. You can reach them at sir-usa.com for all of your backline needs and your studio rehearsal needs. Also to Bling Group, BLINGGROUP.com for all of your diamond watches and diamond accessories to put a little more, bling into your life. Welcome, guys, on board. Also to Sabian Cymbals, my cymbal choice of the past 24 years. Vader Percussion, my drumstick company for the past 25 years. Drum Workshop, DW Drums Incorporated, the biggest drum company in the world. Thank you guys for being part of this. And that's Don Lombardi and Chris Lombardi and also John Good. And then, of course, people I'm most biased to. LP Music Group, that's lpmusic.com. My percussion choice for 28 years. So with that said, hey, Justin, they say, that behind every great musician are other great musicians, or next to us are other great musicians. It's a team. Nobody stands alone. It takes a village, as they say. And here at Intertalk Radio, we are a conducive team. We do bitch and complain and yell like a married couple on times, but the bottom line is we know at the end of the day, it's a big hug and a kiss, and we know that we're doing the greater good for the industry. And the people I have to thank is, Paul Berzetsky, the one you just spoke to, the COO and my engineer and the guitar player on our bumper music, Cedric, and also Megan. Love you guys. And someone I really, really, really kiss ass to is called the CEO. And he's the one that writes those checks. Well, actually, Paul writes them also. So I love you guys, and hopefully that'll give me another $20 in the next payday. So with that said, I want everybody to welcome, to the show. Something we always do is bringing on the CEO, and it's my dear friend, Florentino Buenaventura. Florentino, please say hi to Justin. Justin, say hi to Florentino.
Hey, what's up, Sax man? Going on? What's going on, brother?
Hey, Florentino, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm here listening to the show and really enjoying the tunes. And yeah, man, we really appreciate you coming on board here. We also appreciate, as Jackie said earlier, Rick for always bringing us incredible talent. That man knows how to work with the real deal, and you are, man.
I appreciate that.
we feel that this emerging is not going to be for much longer, man. You're going to be in the mix 100%. So, as things start to go, and keep doing what you're doing, bro. It's sounding good, and you're definitely, you got a good spirit, and that's what we like about the people we bring on as well, because it's not just about the ability, it's about the character, and you got that in spades.
Oh man, I really appreciate that, Florentino. Likewise, man. It's a pleasure to be on the line with you guys. Yeah, well, thank you, brother. Well, as Jackie mentioned, this segment's all about a focus on how people can find out about you. And I don't know if you know anything about the network, but we're 16 shows with great shows. Obviously, Jackie's is an amazing driver for us with the show that he does. We actually have shows from the NAM organization, whether it be the Foundation, which is their education arm, or their oral history program. So we've got those two programs here. We've got Terry Woolman, who has an incredible show called Making It. That's all about the people who have been in the business and how they became what they've established to be themselves as in the business. Aaron A. Train Smith, which talks about love, life, faith, and music, and it's really kind of a great spiritual show. And then we've got have a show on movies. I mean, even though we're all about the music industry, we dabble a little bit because we bring together a bunch of musical types to talk about their favorite movies. So it's really all about that lifestyle and spotlighting these players and the community that we have as musicians. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there and kind of share that with you, because a lot of people, a lot of people aren't aware that we're this entire network. They know us by shows, but we're really, this next NAM, we're really branding that this network is for the musicians, by the musicians, and it's about giving something back to the community. So with that said, we want to spotlight you, brother. We want people to know more about you, and to find out a bit more about how they can stalk you in a good way, obviously. So tell us your URLs, your Facebooks, I appreciate that, Florentino. So my website is justinyoungsax.com. And as well on my Facebook, it is official Justin Young. And then for Twitter and Instagram, it's Justin Young Sax. One of the things that I wanted to do to give back to other musicians, artists, and producers is start a podcast, which I've done. It's called the Justin Young Audio Experience. And it's basically highlighting and providing tips to musicians, artists, and producers that are doing their best to get through the industry and the climate is what I call it now, what the music industry is. And so we've brought on Rick Scott, and we've brought on Goroff Music Marketing.
Oh yeah, we've had Goroff on. So, we have Goroff. That's great.
Folks. And the musician is being in music. Florentino, I believe that music is the way that people come together. It brings people together. And I met a producer that made the music to Star Wars and Family Guy, and he's doing the next Jason Bourne movie. He lives here in Washington, where I live, and he's also on the podcast providing some unbelievable tips to other musicians, artists, and producers. And so
awesome.
One of the things that kind of distinguishes me from other musicians, my dad was a professional musician, and he told me he wanted me to get a degree, and so I picked mechanical engineering. That was the thing that was closest to making a song, in my opinion, since I had been playing music since I was at a young age, and I got accepted to Michigan State University, and my dad told me, I'm not helping you with any loans. You're going to do this yourself. And I was like, I don't know how to, what do you mean, Dad? What do you mean? How am I going to pay for $40,000 in music? He goes, I've showed you everything that you need to know how to make music on this saxophone. You can make music. You can make money to pay off your college loan. I bet you can do it. And I did it. I made money through music, and it's really easy, providing value for someone that they couldn't get from somewhere else with my music. And I've done everything from wineries to tasting rooms to bar mitzvahs to weddings to corporate parties to birthday parties to anniversaries. And then later in life, I wanted to get an MBA, and I paid off my MBA through music.
Awesome.
So for those musicians that ever want to reach out, my email is justin@justinyoungsax.com. Where there's a will, there's a way, and it's easy. If you think something is hard, it ends up to be hard. But if your record is better for someone than them paying for a $5 or $10 sandwich, they will buy it.
Yeah, man. That is awesome. In fact, you kind of, since you said you worked with Brian, I've actually interviewed Brian before, and you guys have a similar story. He was when he first started out, he was super hungry. He was doing all the things he could to make the career take off, and I think that's awesome. In fact, what I like to do, we could talk about this offline, but yeah, man, we carry podcasts as well on the network. We don't always just do the live. We always have Pick Rich's Brain by Rich Redmond, who's the drummer for Jason Aldean, has a podcast on our network as well. So we should talk about that after the show and see maybe carrying you as part of our show offering, because we really want to get some even more spotlight. And I think Jackie will tell you this as well. Once you've been on, you're part of the family. You're
jumped in, brother. Ain't no getting out.
You're part of the Entertalk gang.
Great.
And
one of the ways that we can help each other is help provide musicians, artists, and producers a roadmap.
Yeah.
How do you get from A to B, and what's the quality information that you need? And that's what my Justin Young Audio Experience podcast is trying to do. We're trying to connect people, because I was brought up with, my dad just made money doing music, and there's good times and bad times, right, with any industry. But the fact is, if you know how business works and you can connect yourself from your A to B, you can find a way. And so it's just like any other industry that has highs and lows. As long as you can provide more value to someone than them hiring a DJ, you can make money, or them hiring whatever else.
Yeah.
There's a way.
Yep, definitely. So I'm going to pass it back to you, Jackie. I think you had a couple of things you wanted to.
No, I want to tell you also, Florentino, before you go, if you go over to JustinYoungSax.com and go on to his tour page, you'll see our mutual friends on the right side on keyboards, Kevin Flournoy.
Oh yeah, and Kevin's a really good friend of mine.
Dear friend of the industry. Yeah. And also to the left of that is my boy, Ramon Islas, or Ray Islas on percussion. So
wow.
We got a lot of people in common, and how we haven't run into each other, Justin, is beyond it. But you know what? We're gonna put a stop to that. So, Florentino, thank you for joining us, brother. I've got another 6 minutes with this young cat, so I want to suck it up as much as I can here.
Awesome, sounds good, guys. Have a good rest of your show.
Beautiful meeting you, brother. Florentino. Thank you so much.
And we'll get in touch with you after the show.
Perfect.
Sounds great.
All right, take care.
All right. So, with that said, my brother, I want to get back in this because we talked about this. We I don't want to say we sloughed over it, but the fact is, the word music and the word business, I firmly believe wholeheartedly they don't belong in the same line. That is, it's tough because music 5 years ago was changing maybe every 2 years, but music, even the beginning of this year, is changing monthly, and it's getting to the point where it's changing daily. I want to know you talk about life performance, get to the situation where you're young, but as we get older, I mean, I've got dear friends of mine like the group Chicago just celebrated 50 years. Tower Power celebrating 50 years next year, and Joe Vitale, drummer for Joe Walsh, they're celebrating 50 years as Brotherhood, but it's harder and harder and harder to monetize your music unless you own the licensing, unless you own a lock, stock, and barrel. Are you optimistic or are you pessimistic in the way the business is run today? And be honest with us.
I'm optimistic. I really don't care how the business is run today. I'm more focused on how I, as an artist, as an individual, can provide and create opportunities for my music. So there's no saving grace here. There's no someone that's going to come and save the world for you, or there's no manager that's going to come in and give you gigs. And we have to know a little bit more about the business and how it was created.
Absolutely.
When records were doing well, there's 5 different arms that helped artists succeed. And those arms consisted of retail marketing, marketing the artist, creating the CDs, retail merchandise, and just an overall of being everywhere at the same time, whether you think that's marketing or advertising. So there's a lot that goes into this business, but you don't have to be an expert at that to make money off of that.
Absolutely.
It's not as easy as before to make money, but if you're creative enough, you can find ways to make money.
Absolutely.
I've been blessed to be able to provide any type of venue value, and that's through fans that I have a large following that I can bring somewhere to get booked. That's by providing proposals for artists and residencies. That's by selling my music on my website. That's by creating creative pre-order sales where I would provide the fan not just the music but the sheet music and other studio footage that they wouldn't have otherwise. This is a very creative business, and you just have to find ways to either A, license your music, or B, create the music and get it out to the public. So there's a roadmap there, but there's a lot of room for you to be creative and find a way.
Musical GPS, for the lack of a better word. And guys, awesome too. I mean, again, I cannot wait to see this boy. I just missed him. I mean, he was an hour away from me at Spaghettini's in August. But I want to share for you out there. You guys, get your pens out there. If you're driving, don't do this. But we'll also post this. On September the 16th, this young brother is going to be playing at the Obelisco Winery in Woodville, Washington. On the 14th of October, he'll be playing. And when will you be playing? Did I already talk about September? Let's move forward here. This coffee has worn me out. Let's talk about, you just finished up at the Lauren Aston Cellars. December 10th, you're coming up to the Columbia Winery in Woodville, Washington. And in December, the Lauren Aston Cellars again. And December 31st, New Year's Eve. Where are you playing, brother? You're actually employed on New Year's. I hope you're making a grip of change on that one. And
we're downtown Seattle in this beautiful skyrise performing for a private function. So we're really excited. I'll have my band there and selling CDs. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Hey, brother, let me ask you this question in the last 2 minutes. I always ask this question to my wife's idea, and everybody's been knocked out by it. I think you touched on it a little while ago, but if music was not in Justin's vocabulary, if your dad didn't have music, if there was no such thing as music, what would Justin Young be doing today?
Ooh, what a great question. I really don't know. It's such an important part of my life. I'm not sure what I would do. Yeah.
You're not alone. That's a perfect answer to my question, is when you take not a 1, 2, or 3 step, you just stop and you go, wow. I mean, the answers that I've gotten across the board, I just had the pleasure of interviewing Ray Parker Jr., Mr. Ghostbusters, and Ray said, I'd probably on the line in Detroit at the Ford Motor Company with my dad, or I probably would be dead. Just for being, from the inner city and so on and so forth. But we have to be thankful for what we do. I'm going to say this. I'm going to preach this till I can preach it no more. Everybody out there, stop stealing fucking music. And I said the word fucking like underlined in bold print. We are not walking into your office, standing on your desk and pissing on your computer. Don't do it to us. And so with that said, that's my soapbox. I want everybody to go to where music is available to purchase. Go to justinyoungsax.com and go to iTunes. Go to hopefully CD Baby. Go to his website, justinyoung.sax.com, and patronize this young brother. I know we will be. And so, Justin, with that said, brother, I cannot thank you enough. Again, I have to give a shout out to Rick Scott. Rick, thanks for bringing him. Keep bringing him itself. And Justin, we'll keep you abreast of what's coming on. Friends of ours that are friends of yours. I'll let you know when Brian Culbertson's coming on. I'm going to have a great chop it up with him also. So with that said, I want everybody to say thank you to Justin Young for bringing his talents, bringing his energy, and bringing his good soul to Jackie's Groove. And so, Justin, again, I always finish up my broadcast by saying, peace through music. We love you, brother. Keep playing it hard, man, and keep striving forward. So with that said, guys, thank you, Justin, and just keep an eye out. And I'll send you the link, and I will send you a private text in a little bit. So everybody, Justin Young, thank you, my brother. Peace through music.
Thank you so much for having me, Jackie. See you guys.
God bless. This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al DiMeola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be the music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.